Cardano Over Coffee proudly presents the Bowl of Mac with Cow, aka EPOCH, and also known on Twitter as Holy Macaroni.
Welcome to your bowl of macaroni earlier than normal. I am Kyle, or Holy Macaroni, or EPOCH. So today I'll be talking about a couple of things. The first thing is social media account security. I just had a video finished. My wife just walked in my office and gave it to me, so I'll put that on YouTube in the next hour or so, where I walk through like 8 or 9 different major platforms and detail on things to do. But I want to give you some advice today on this space here about social media security. Some quick tips. First thing is, when you install any social media or any application on a mobile device, don't be so quick to go through all of the prompts. A lot of times they'll ask you immediately for access to your contact list or your photos or other things on your device. So I would be very careful on every single application you install, especially social media applications on your mobile device, and ensure you're not allowing access to those things only unless absolutely necessary. Sometimes we post videos from our phone on Twitter, sure, but never should you be giving access to the contacts and things like that. The next thing I would say is two-factor authentication. I talk about this constantly, and a lot of people have heard me talk about it a lot, but almost every social media platform does have two-factor authentication. Some of the ones I've talked about are, I walk through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, Discord, and Telegram. All of them have these abilities that I'm talking about now. They have the ability to not, you cannot give any of them your personal information. You can set up two-factor authentication on all of them. A couple of caveats about two-factor authentication. Every platform that you go into, if they give you the option for SMS or text message authentication, do not use that. Only use an authenticator app or a security key. So Google Authenticator, or you can use YubiKey. They have an authenticator app like Google Authenticator, and they also have a physical security device. Also, always set up 2 different options in each of your accounts, so if you lose one, you still have access with the other one. Also, in all of these platforms, when you set up 2FA, they also give you backup codes. I would write those down just like you do in your seed phrase or something, and store it in your safe or something like that as a last resort to get back in your account if you lose all of the other options. The other thing I would recommend is, a lot of people, every platform comes by default with a bunch of different settings configured for reasonable purposes, right? For growing their platform, spreading content, providing visibility to you or of you if you're providing content. But there are a lot of security risks that come with that, right? Certain information being available, them using your information, a lot of your personal information, or a lot of they'll monitor your activity and things you do to provide you content. My opinion, from a security perspective, you need to go on every platform that you use, all of the ones I've just mentioned, and make sure you disable those options. Every one of them have those options. Now, the user interface is different in each one of them. Just go into your settings and start finding where all of those settings are. I would dedicate 2 or 3 hours to sit down and go through all of that. It is the most valuable thing that I think you could do with 2 or 3 hours of your own time. What else might I mention about social media security? I don't want to get into any of the details of the actual settings because there are just so damn many of them. As a matter of fact, on certain platforms, I believe Facebook is probably a decent example. If you go into the security settings and privacy settings, it's very convoluted and hard to find things. Just sit down and dig into there and dig into it, research it, whatever, find where these settings are and set them accordingly to what you are willing to accept for risk and what you want available to you. So I think that pretty much covers social media security. The other thing I'll mention is a tweet I put out the other day on my EPOCH account. So Nudes was kind enough to share a thing with me about a thing that this person did, and I shared this tweet up top so everybody can read it. They were doing something to where they were going to, they put out a thing, they would give you $1,400 and something if you could crack their seed phrase. So they were doing this with a 12 and 24 word seed phrase, and they were pretty much exposing the lack of security with 12-word seed phrases versus 24-word seed phrases. That same day, Hero shared something with me about Apple vulnerabilities, and I just want to mention another awareness item that I talk about often is that it doesn't matter what platform you're on, they are all at risk for vulnerabilities and things like that, right? A lot of times the concept comes into play with bad actors of opportunity. 20 years ago, everybody used Windows because it was new. Nobody used Apple. Why would a bad actor waste their time on there. There's not a lot of opportunity to compromise somebody, but a lot of people use Apple products now, so the opportunity is very prevalent. So these vulnerabilities are becoming more common. Another tweet I saw from Cardano Shamrock in the exact same day was some crypto security advice. I like two things that he mentioned in this a lot. Don't tell others your worth, and don't trust easily. Yeah, so he mentioned don't leave your assets in exchanges, don't tell others your worth, don't trust easily, use multiple wallets, things like that. But again, a lot of times I see people provide advice, but they always neglect to mention not advising people to not tell other people what you actually have, and don't trust people so easily, because this exposes you to more potential bad actors and malicious attempts, right? I think that pretty much sums up my bowl of macaroni. I hope that was helpful for everybody.